Exploring the unknown depths of the earth can be both exhilarating and terrifying. Join us as we uncover the chilling story of Donald Weltner, a caver who ventured into the darkness only to face a tragedy that would haunt the caving community for years to come. This is the harrowing tale of caving gone wrong and the lessons we can learn from it. Donald, a passionate diver who loved exploring new caves and mapping them out, decided to visit the treacherous Crooked Swamp Cave in New Jersey with his two sons, Christopher and Roger, and 12 scouts. Caving is an extremely challenging activity and can be deadly, and the Crooked Swamp Cave is one of the most advanced and least visited caves in New Jersey. This cave is located in the rural north-central part of the state, and it is a three-part cave system that was formed by the slow dissolution of many springs. With multiple parallels and connecting passages, the cave spans an impressive 1,200 feet and is considered the longest cave in New Jersey. The second part of the cave leads to a 5-foot-high room that can be reached with ease, but only by slim divers who can navigate through narrow passages requiring body squeezing. Due to the potential hazards in this area, visitors are advised to exercise great caution and to inform the New Jersey Conservatory to arrange for a tour guide before exploring the Crooked Swamp Cave. Donald and his two sons, along with 12 scouts, embarked on an exploration of Crooked Swamp Cave on Saturday, March 27th. The group made their way to the cave's second part, which required crawling on hands and knees due to the small height and width of the entrance. For safety reasons, the scouts were advised to stick together and utilize a buddy system in case of emergencies. While Donald was not concerned about the scouts getting stuck as they were smaller than he was, various obstacles posed a potential threat. The cave walls were damp, cold, and emitted a pungent odor. Upon entering a small room at the back of the cave, the group discovered that the cave was connected to two other caves in the Crooked Swamp system. Donald, who had a passion for discovering new caves and mapping them out, was keen on exploring the newly found caves. However, he had previously attempted to explore the small room but felt that his companions were reluctant to proceed. Similar to Donald, the scouts were also eager to uncover the cave's connection and were curious about the small room they had heard about. Despite the obstacles and potential hazards, Donald, his sons, and the scouts were excited to explore the Crooked Swamp Cave and discover the newly connected caves. When the scouts were left without proper supervision, they began to wander off and explore the forbidden areas of the caves. With their small size and agility, they moved easily through the cave's passageways. However, they were not following the given instructions, and their scattered exploration made it difficult to control the situation. Donald, who was leading the exploration, realized that it was becoming increasingly challenging to manage the scouts' scattered movements. He decided that it was best to end the exploration. However, before concluding the trip, he wanted to explore a small room and discover the cave connection. Donald's excitement grew as he made his way through the small room, disregarding his surroundings. The cave's narrow passages posed a challenge for him as he was bigger than the scouts. Despite ripping his clothes and being covered in slime, he remained focused on getting to the small room. As he went deeper, the passages became increasingly narrow, to the point where he couldn't walk. He could only make it by crawling. His head first, then his body, into a cone-shaped passage. He tried to wiggle his way out at first, but it quickly became unbearable. He realized there was a problem when his shoulder and hips were pinned and his head was stuck at an angle downward. He tried to squeeze and wiggle his way out, but it was futile. He kept trying to get out, but the passage became increasingly tight around him. It was becoming increasingly difficult for him to breathe. At this point, he realized he had freed a stone. It tightened when he tried to move it back, but it loosened when he moved forward. As he tried to free himself, the freed stone got him stuck even more. Because he was upside down and adrenaline was increasing, his heart had to work harder to pump blood to all parts of the body now that he was experiencing a fast heartbeat. In this situation, the only thing Donald could think of that would get him out of the situation was help from another person. As a result, he attempted to yell for assistance, but no one was close enough to hear him. After a while, there was some good news. Fortunately, one of the scouts heard his voice and was able to track it down to where Donald was. This man rushed to Donald's sons and informed them of their father's situation so they could come help their father. When Christopher and Roger arrived at their father's house, they immediately began trying to pull him out. But it was far from an easy task because it took them about an hour and a half to get a hold of him by the legs. They were joined by some other scouts, but nothing they tried worked. After everything else failed, Roger suggested that they send a message to the troop informing them of their father's situation and that they needed immediate assistance to get him out of the cave. Christopher did as Roger instructed. Remember, Donald's heart was working overtime to keep him alive due to its downward position. The longer the rescue was delayed, the more likely it was that the heart would stop working. Many rescue groups came from far and wide to help Donald. They tried to pull him out with his feet and from other sides of the cave, but none of them were successful. To make matters worse, the temperature inside the cave reached 57 degrees Fahrenheit. He couldn't take in fluids or other life-sustaining supplies, and his position demanded a lot of effort. Donald was in a lot of pain. Emotional pain was another type of pain he was experiencing. The feeling of hopelessness as he watched all the rescue efforts fail, and the regret that he let ambition and excitement cloud what he usually teaches his scout troop, which is safety. More experienced cavers arrived, and a variety of strategies were tried, including drilling ropes and chiseling. They could only see his feet, which was not helping matters. Donald moaned in agony, losing strength with each passing second. The situation had become helpless. The next day, rescue efforts continued and more drastic measures were taken, causing significant damage to Donald. For example, during the rescue, he received cuts on his back and head. Some of his ribs were broken, and rocks stuck him and cut his skin, causing a lot of blood loss. Donald was in a lot of pain as a result of his prolonged exposure to the cave's walls. His body temperature began to fall from 98.6 degrees to less than 80 degrees. At that point, rescue teams concluded that he had no chance of survival. Grunts were heard from him in the afternoon of the third day, but the rescue team was about to pull him just 12 inches out of the cave, and doctors estimated that he would likely die from hypothermia or blood loss after 3 days of fighting for his life in all of the massive rescue operations by multiple rescue teams. Donald died 20 minutes after he was declared dead. The rescue team used dynamite and backhoes to pull him out of the cave's bedrock hillside, and they were eventually able to recover his body. We'd like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the bell icon to be notified when we post another bizarre incident.